Hey guys, welcome to this week's edition of the Coffee and Hero Show, where I'm going to take you through all of the new graphic novels that are into the store this week. It's not the biggest week in terms of quantity, but tons of quality as always. What you'll notice is when we put up our video later for the single issues is it's more of a bigger single issue week this week than trade week. I think a lot of publishers just eager to get their titles out before Christmas, and that's understandable. You'll get a quieter week for single issues between Christmas and New Year's, so it's a big week this week as a result. But as I say, still tons of great stuff here in terms of graphic novels. So we'll kick things off with Spider-Man: Great Power, Great Mayhem. So this is one aimed at slightly younger readers. I mean, you'll always see that by the size of the book. Marvel and DC do certainly seem to be making more of a concerted effort to appeal to younger readers. You know, it's always an easy thing, I say to parents, that if you know your son or daughter's 12 years or over, it's easy to recommend Marvel and DC stuff. But if they're in that 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old range, it can be a little trickier. So it's why we have our children's section over there, with more focused on younger readers material for that reason. And as I say, Marvel and DC are definitely getting better about that. Next up is a modern era epic collection. So this is for Venom: The Savage 6. So this is predominantly from Rick Remender's run. I believe Colin Bunn did a little bit of work on this as well. Tons of great artists on this: Kev Walker, Paco Medina, Declan Shalvey, Marco Cicchetto. And this basically covers Venom 17 to 35 and 27.1, as well as Maximum Carnage Alpha, Scarlet Spider 10-11, and Maximum Carnage Omega as well. So really, really liking these modern epic collections. Not everything has to be from 30, 40, 50 years ago to fall under the epic collection banners. There are stories people want to read that are maybe tricky to get in print, so it's great to see those modern era epic collections. Next up, back in stock is Volume 2 of Human Target. So it's a 2-volume series. One of the best things of the last couple of years, I would venture to say. No small part due to Greg Smallwood's art, which is incredible. Just looks like 60s nostalgia. Brilliantly written by Tom Keane as well. Very, very highly recommended there. Next up is The Marvels Project. So this is by Ed Brubaker and Steve Epting, a team you may recognize from The Winter Soldier. And this is one that I actually read myself about 2 weeks ago. A customer was kind enough to lend me their copy. Cheers for that, Michael. And this is basically showing the formation of the Marvels. It's sort of a prequel almost to, or a more in-depth look certainly anyway, at the formation of the Invaders during the Marvels timeline. Marvels of course being the Alex Ross book. So highly, highly recommend this. It was very, very good. All espionage, all set during the war. And again, it's all about that formation. Namor, Captain America, Human Torch, Bucky. Very, very good stuff. Another good Marvel event which we've got back in stock is Absolute Carnage. So this is the 5-issue miniseries itself. Also includes the free comic book day issue. So this, of course, was Donny Cates and Rand Stegman. This was the first of 2 events they did during their Venom run. Absolute Carnage being the first and Keenan Black being the second. The art in this is insane. Really, really fun title. I remember when this came out, this was huge for the store. Did great numbers, lots of people excited, and everyone was left satisfied by it. So yeah, good to have that back in stock. Next up is Star Wars Yoda, which was a 10-issue miniseries that came out towards the end of last year and finished off this year. And this is 10 issues, written by Kevin Scott predominantly. Some good artists on there as well, Nico Leon, Luke Ross, for example. But yeah, that's the complete 10-issue run. Next up is Doctor Strange by Mark Waid. So this was basically the run that finished Mark Waid on Doctor Strange before Jed MacKay has taken over. So this is Doctor Strange 1 to 11 from the 2018 series, written by Mark Waid and drawn by Jesus Says, Javier Pina, and more. So Earth Sorcerer Supreme goes intergalactic. So again, the whole volume. A cool wee miniseries that came out recently was Loki. So this was from Dan Waters and Germán Peralta. And this was a 4-issue miniseries. Really, really fun stuff. Really enjoyed this, and again, very critically acclaimed volume there. Next up is the latest volume of the current Power Rangers run. So Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Recharge. This is volume 3. We do have volume 1 and 2 on the shelf, which is over in the Boom Studios section. So this contains issues 107 to 110. We continue on in the Marvel Universe. Oh, it's a very Marvel heavy week this, isn't it? Must look at my order. This is Death of the Venomverse. So this was a 5-issue miniseries. Colin Bunn, Rafa Sandoval. Glorious looking series. It will zip by at a very fast pace. It's not a dialogue heavy series, shall we say, but the art was pretty class, and it's just lots of symbiotes fighting each other, so it's exactly what you expect. definitely one of the best books this year, I thought, was Mark Millar's and Pepe Larraz's Big Game. So what this was essentially the first event in the Millar world. The idea of that being is that all the books that Mark Millar's done to this point, so things like Magic Order, things like Wanted, things like Huck, things like Chrononauts, things like Kingsman, Hit Girl, Kick-Ass, all of his universe basically were all, individual volumes, but this is an event that brings them all together. The last issue of this especially was a double-sized issue, and it's how you should end an event. It ends the event really satisfyingly, huge stakes, but also sets up some cool stuff for the future. So I really, really recommend that. Undoubtedly, the biggest release this week, though, is Where the Body Was. So the latest Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips original graphic novel. So again, these guys don't deal in single issues anymore. They do the Reckless books, they did Night Fever, they do Pulp. Of course, cut their teeth on Criminal, although Criminal still went through the traditional single issue release model. But not now, they just do these hardcover original graphic novels. This was originally supposed to be out last week. It was certainly out last week in the States, and we very jealously looked on as everyone in the States was proudly showing off their copy. Some sort of shipping problem, I don't know. It affected the whole UK, it wasn't just us. It affected the whole UK. But yeah, really looking forward to reading this. A boarding house full of junkies, a neglected housewife, a young girl who thinks she's a superhero, and a cop who just wants some peace and quiet, and a private detective looking for a runaway girl. These stories collide in one fateful summer and Where the Body Was. So really looking forward to tucking into that myself. Next up is the deluxe edition for Gotham After Midnight. So some royalty on this, to say the least. Steve Niles, creator of 30 Days of Night Riding. You have Kelly Jones on the art here as well. This collects the limited series, as well as an original foreword by John Carpenter, no less. Brand new introduction by Steve Niles, the author of the original series outline and the script for issue 1, plus behind the scenes art, plus a tale from Brave and the Bold number 4 as well. So pretty definitive here. So Masters of Horror, Steve Niles and Kelly Jones present a terrifying tale of vigilante justice, love and monsters in Gotham After Midnight. And then one last one just to show you, just was glad to get restocks back in of The Last Ronin, of course. Easily the biggest turtle story in years. The key to this was its simplicity. It didn't matter if you hadn't read Turtles in years, as long as you knew the basics, you were able to jump right into this, and it's a brilliantly told tale. So there's The Last Ronin, which was a 5-issue series, but as well as that, you have The Lost Years, which is also available at the moment, which fills in some blanks in the past, and then there's a sequel starting in the new year as well. So TMNT, The Last Ronin. So that is the last lot of what is going on to the shelves this week. We are open all week this week, all the way up to Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve will be 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock, 10 to 5 the rest of the week. Vouchers available, of course. They've been selling really, really well. So if you're unsure what to get for someone who likes the store, vouchers are always a good thing to go for. Then I can always have a chat to them when they come in the next day, or when they come in to spend them, I should say. So yeah, tons of great stuff going on. Got a couple of things cooking for next year as well, which I'm looking forward to announcing. And yeah, other than that, store's doing really well. That's a credit to you guys. So thanks to every single person who walks through those doors. And hopefully I'll see you throughout the week. And if I don't, have a lovely Christmas. And I'll see you in the new year. But do check back later for the single issues video, which we will hopefully stick up around 7 o'clock or so tonight. Anyway, again, hope you enjoyed this. Hope it proved useful. Look forward to seeing you in store soon. Take it easy.